And so we're going to start in alphabetical order. Normally we do ladies first, but Jorge, you go first because your last name begins with E. Jorge Exposito, how do you foresee the budget for 2010? Why do you want this position when everybody talks about it being such a difficult economic year to make very, very tough decisions?
The budget for 2010 does not bode well based on economic factors. However, I think the reason I'm running is because I truly care and I think I can make a difference. I think with my corporate training, with my private training, I can bring something to the commission. I can bring something to the commission that will allow me to serve as an effective voice for our citizens. I can bring my skill set, my experience to be an efficient voice for our citizens to ensure that our money is spent effectively, efficiently, and that we avoid unnecessary overruns, and that we take the necessary steps in order that all our projects are done on time and on budget.
Thank you. Maria Mayer?
Thank you. I would like to make sure that we don't raise our property taxes. I want to make sure that we don't diminish our services, and I think there's plenty of fat that we can cut, and that's what I would focus on as a commissioner. I would like to explore renegotiating some of the contracts that we have in our capital improvements program. Oftentimes we find when we look that we are overpaying for services, not by a little but by a lot, and we could save millions of dollars.
Thank you. Sherry Roberts.
Thank you. I believe that I think 2010 is going to be a very significant year for us in terms of a decline. I don't want to see us raise our taxes. There are three services that every community needs, and those three, it's police, it's fire, and it's trash. And once you deal with those three, then you start dealing. You know, I understand, and I know he's sitting here, so I'm not saying it just because he's here, but Mr. Gonzalez, he's taken a lot of heat over the last year or so in terms of the CIP budgets and things like that. It's real easy to criticize when the market has changed. We're on a downturn right now. It's a lot easier to get a contract today for a lot less money than you could have when maybe these plans were made 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, maybe 5 years ago.
Thank you very much. Now we go to Maria Mayer. One of the things that's always plagued Miami Beach is parking. Why is the parking situation never solved?
Because we're such a popular city and everybody wants to come here, and we want everyone to come here. So I think the answer is manifold. We need to build more parking garages, and we are. There's several that are in planning. We also need to encourage our residents to use mass transit and our tourists to use mass transit. We also have a big population of people that don't live in Miami Beach, but that work here. So I think we need to look at various options, some of which have been proposed in various studies. The Coastal Community Study had certain recommendations that have not been implemented. One of those is to encourage people that don't live in the city but that work here to be bused around the city. So I think we need to look at various options.
Thank you. Sherry Roberts?
Yeah, I believe in leading by example, and that's why I'm driving a smart car. In addition to that, our bicycle paths are there. They're starting to grow, but I also think we need to educate our people who visit our city and the drivers, because somebody's going to get killed making a right-hand turn when the bike lane is on the right-hand side. I think we have to increase our transportation. We're very lucky. We just got awarded the bus service that now takes us out to the airport. And that's what I have to say about transportation.
Jorge Exposito.
I think one of the things we need to do is also focus more on private-public enterprises where we are joining with private sector in building parking garages. Once we have those parking garages built, another factor that we need to look into and that we must do is to ensure that our buses throughout the city do certain loops that join us together. We need to make sure that the buses from the north combine with the buses in Mid-Beach to the buses in South Beach. I have come across numerous people during my walks that have said, I would go to South Beach in a bus, but for the fact that the buses, number one, are cumbersome, they don't come regularly, and they don't pass by the areas we live in. We need to make sure that our buses are effective so that the people will use them.
Thank you. Sherry Roberts, how do you find an appropriate balance? Miami Beach is a great tourist haven, but how do you find that balance of tourism with providing for families as well?
I think we've had commissions over the last few years. A number of years ago, we had a commission that was really representing the businesses. We now have a commission that's dealing strictly pretty much with the residents. I think it is in our best interest to remember that it's not a them and us, it's a all of us. We have businesses in this town that are going to help us bring back tourism. They abide by the codes. We've got a guy on Ocean Drive, Mangoes, who's a good business owner, and he's the kind of person we want to encourage other businesses to come spend money so our taxes are not way out of whack.
Thank you. Jorge Exposito.
We strike a balance by making sure, first of all, that we set specific parameters and regulations that are fair to all. We strike a balance by making sure that when we are building, we're looking where we're building. We do not want to see a 5-story apartment building with 110 apartments next to residential homes. We strike a balance by making sure that we make sure that once we're setting up through our planning boards and planning committees, that we are cognizant of our cities and make sure that our citizens, and make sure that our citizens are part of the process, because they're the best ones that can tell us what's appropriate for each area.
Thank you. Maria?
I think one of the things that we need to do is encourage all of our residents to take personal responsibility for our city and for the importance of tourism to our city and for the importance of tourism to all of us because it generates revenue, and that in turn relieves some of the pressure of the city to increase our taxes. So I think if all realize that tourism is good for us and it's not a mutually exclusive interest, that helps.
Thank you. And then one quick question, just 30 seconds, because we're running late on time. But one quick question: what would you do? 30 seconds each. What would you do to be able to buttress or to give greater support to the Miami Beach Convention Center? Let's start with you, Sherry Roberts.
What I wouldn't do, they're in the process right now of doing a study, and what I would not do is put a hotel there. We've got enough hotels right now that can't fill their rooms. The Fountain Blue is at $249 a night. The Lowe's is $199 a night. We certainly don't have to spend money in that area. We're also limited on funds. With the stadium going up, we're hoping that we have the $55 million that we've been promised from Miami-Dade.
Maria Mayer.
I think that we do need to upgrade our convention center. I mean, if we want to be a world-class city, we need to have a world-class convention center. I'm not sure that all the facts are in yet. We're still sort of exploring what's the best option for the convention center, and I would keep an open mind. I don't believe we need a hotel there, but I would like to see what we come up with.
Jorge Exposito.
We are presently the city is doing a study, which I think is the appropriate thing to do a master plan to determine what are the needs for the convention center and then implement them. We need to make sure that the convention center is attractive. It does need renovation, and we need to make sure that the funding that has been promised to us is there and is given to us. We also need to basically hold the city of Miami's feet to the fire to ensure that they help us. At the end of the day, it is the only convention center in this area. So we need to make sure that they participate and they are part of that process.
Thank you. Okay, I lied. One quick question. Do any of you think gambling is good for Miami Beach? Yes or no?
I personally don't care for gambling. I don't think...
you would vote against it?
I would vote against it.
Okay. Maria?
I'm not sure how I would vote on it. Instinctively, I would say no, because I think it would not stimulate the entire city. It tends to just stimulate the people that are running the casinos.
Sherry?
I love to gamble, but I would not vote for it.
Ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Group 2, candidates for Miami Beach Commission 2009.